were given fake independence. We were given independence by name. To what extent are we going to continue to be stupid? To what extent are we going to continue to be used as instruments of our own self-destruction? To what extent are we going to stand up and say enough is enough?
Did Jamaica really become independent? No. And what did we get in independence apart from a flag and an anthem? Not a thing. So in 1692, when colonial government was set up, just remember this, they took over in 1665 and named the island Jamaica in 1691. Anyways, the government consisted of a governor, executive council, magistrates court, and the court of admiralty. These courts are what we call today as maritime courts, meaning they have nothing to do with law or common law. The governor was also known as the Lord of the Land, and he was also the commander for the Jamaican militia. The Jamaican militia today is what we know as JDF, the army. The army was and still being used as their personal bodyguards. Now you might say I'm wrong, but ask yourself this. When has a Jamaican soldier ever been deployed to fight a war against another country? Never. All they do is fight Jamaican people by keeping us in order. That's why I call it a personal army. Go to part 2. Welcome back. By 1962, the black population became the superior majority, meaning that there was more black Africans more than any other racial group within the Caribbean at that time. So they know they couldn't continue with the same systems they had oppressing black people. So to appease black citizens and white colonists, the Crown decided to hand over some responsibility to the desegregated local parliament, basically letting some Negroes in. And that's all we got. Don't believe me? This is what the Independence Act of 1962 did not do for us, because I read the act. It did not relinquish the Queen's claim and dominion over the island. She still owns it. It did not return ownership and resources of the land back to the people. We don't own them. It did not restore indigenous rights or birthrights, inheritance. It did not recompensate the wealth that was stolen from the natives during slavery for over 400 years. It did not remove the Queen as head of state. She is still very much there. Remember the time when the government said that they want to remove the Queen and make Jamaica a republic? Find out in part 3. Hello. Like I was saying, the government does not have the authority to remove the Queen as head of state, because they work for her. The Queen owns the island, so the governments are her employees. How can you take something legally from someone who already owns it? So don't believe all that shit, they only do it to get elected. Anyways, it did not rescind the Governor General as Lord of the Land, he still is. Also, he is still the commanding chief of the military. Like, you remember that time when Bruce Golding wanted to send army into Tivoli? He had to ask for permission, and the governor has to issue a state of emergency in order for the army to go in. Bottom line, the government doesn't own the army. The army is still the Jamaican militia and is there for the chief governor to control. Anyways, it did not revoke the birth certificate bonds under citizenry. We still bonded. I'll make a separate video about that. And it did not resolve the debts that was accrued upon the people. This so-called independent nation started off flat broke. No money, debt, broke. Go to part 3. So like I said, Jamaica started out flat broke. And because of this, the government of Jamaica and the Bank of Jamaica, which is owned by the Queen as well, this is in the Bank of Jamaica Act 1960, soon started to borrow large sums of money from predatory multinational lenders like the International Monetary Fund, you lot know as the IMF, the World Bank, and the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB. Those banks carry high interest rates and harsh penalty fees, one of them being known as the Structural Adjustment Policy. Keep that in mind. Here is an example of a structural adjustment policy. Jamaica has 3 million people currently living on the island, but only 6 post-service general hospitals. Portmore is the most popular parish on the island and they still don't have a hospital. You know why they don't have a hospital? Because of the structural adjustment policies. Because of this policy, when the IMF lends you money, they can tell you what they want you to spend it on. And they told us explicitly that we can't build no new schools or hospitals. Part 5. Welcome to part 5. This is part of the reason why Jamaica has not built a new school in over 20 years and a hospital in over 30 years. And the debt is why, which is the grip of poverty in Jamaica. Another negative impact that these policies have on Jamaica is to force the country to sell out its resources. We don't own the bauxite, nor the tourism, nor the airlines, or the airports, agriculture, utilities, or the highways. The 6th of this month will be 58 years since our independence, and these policies are still running our country. They dictate everything, from the value of the dollar to the rate of income tax, to what schools they open or what roads get fixed. Today, Every half of a dollar that you pay in tax goes towards serving that debt. The other half goes to royalties and other bondholders. Bottom line, your tax doesn't finance Jamaica. The end result is a bankrupt country with a useless currency and a population working to serve a debt that we did not accumulate. And finally, take yourselves over to part 6. Hi, welcome to part 6. There is a group in Washington, D.C. called the Center Correspondent for Economy. They published a report in 2015. And in that report, they declared that Jamaica was the most indebted country in the world. That means that out of all 198 countries on earth, we're the only ones who owe so much money relative to the size of our economy. Like, our debt exceeds the country's GDP. Meaning that the debt cannot possibly be repaid because you weren't meant to repay it. You were only meant to have a group of people working to service the debt, not to pay it off. Meaning that Europe still has their fingers, toenails, earlobes, eyelashes, everything in that cute little country we call Jamaica. So please know this, I don't make these videos to offend anyone. I make them to educate and to let people understand that as black people, child, we still struggling, even in our own country.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel once again. My name is Dash Lifestyle. Kindly for watching me for the first time, remember to subscribe, like, share, and also comment. So guys, in today's video, I want us to watch and to listen to this powerful speech from one of our African leader. She's known as Dr. Arikana. Dr. Arikana, she has come out and sent a warning message to all African and Caribbean puppet and corrupt leader to change because revolution it has started. And also Dr. Arikana, she's calling unity amongst black people. She wants to see black Americans uniting with the Afro-Caribbean and also African people uniting with black people in the entire continent. So kindly guys, watch this video from one of our African leader, then I'll be back with more comment.
We were given fake independence. We were given independence by name. The multinational companies that existed during colonization, they have never left Africa to this day. To what extent are we going to continue to be stupid? To what extent are we going to continue to be used as instruments of our own self-destruction? To what extent are we going to stand up and say enough is enough? And once again, let me reiterate, we apologize for what we have done to our Africa. We apologize for failing to defend your Africa like we should. But all is not lost. So it is as I traveled around the United States and the Americas, and I would talk about what was happening in Africa. To my surprise, the Africans, but Ambassador, the African leaders are corrupt. I get it. We have some that are corrupt, but we also have some good leaders. But the question is, what kind of a president do you have who has given up natural resources, who has given up financial resources, who has given up control of it? What kind of a leader is that? We have to talk about the multinationals. In addition to that pact, in addition to the constraints that are being put on African leaders, in addition to the fear of having coups and African leaders being eliminated when they try to do that which is right for their people, we also had to deal with the multinationals that never left Africa since colonization to this day. We too must call them out, because they too are another axis of evil. They are robbing Africa to the tune of trillions every year. They use safe havens to hide their returns. They are using illegal means to loot out of Africa. Look at DRC. You have tarmacs in the middle of the jungle. 747s flying into DRC, picking up minerals and flying right out of Africa. And this is happening all over Africa. You have NGOs that are sent to Africa not to help you. NGOs that are coming to Africa to make sure that they continue to destabilize your countries by any means necessary. Neo-colonization is colonization that simply changed clothes. As we talk about our Africa and what is ailing our beloved continent, as we talk about institutions of higher learning, it is important that children, you understand the three axes of evil: imperialism, colonization, neo-colonization. Understand them fully and understand how they are being used to keep Africa where they want Africa to be. You see, a liberated and informed Africa is an Africa that is dangerous to the Western world. To what extent are we going to continue to be stupid? To what extent are we going to continue to be used as instruments of our own self-destruction? To what extent are we going to stand up and say enough is enough? We have failed you as your elders. We are leaving you in Africa that is not where it should be, and for that we apologize. But all is not lost. I do know one thing, that there are enough of us who get it, enough of us who are committed to making sure that we tell you young people the truth and nothing but the truth. The struggle for Africa is a very simple one. We're asking the Western world to do unto us what they would want done unto them. Plain and simple. We're simply speaking our truth. You see, they never change. And that's why I was asked to come here and share with you, young, bright minds, that which you need to know. As this university is preparing you for the future, for you leaders of tomorrow, you must be armed with knowledge and understanding of who you are. We have a responsibility to empower you, remind you that you are the mothers and fathers of humanity. Own your power. We must let you know what your power is. You are a black woman. That's your power. Own it. You're black man. That is your power. Own it. You are an African. That is your power. Own it. Stand on the tallest mountain and proclaim to the world who you are, the proud, the beautiful, intelligent, sophisticated, highly adaptable, and totally indestructible African. That is who you are. And no one can take that away from you unless you allow them to do so. Understand what the World Bank is doing in Ghana. Understand what the IMF is doing in Ghana. Understand what the NGOs, even the embassies in some cases, are doing in Ghana. You, the people, have the power. But how do you change your Africa if you don't understand it? The abuse and exploitation of Africa must come to an end. Imperialism must come to an end. Colonization must come to an end. We demand a free Africa that is going to be treated fairly, just like anybody else. Plain and simple. To that end, are you all prepared to fight for what belongs to you? Because this is not going to be easy. Getting rid of those people out of Africa is not going to be easy. It's going to take a deep understanding and a commitment to fight. It is a crusade. Make no mistake about it. It is not for the faint at heart. But we can only fight if we have that resolve and we understand that which we are fighting for. Africa for the Africans at home and abroad. No one can continue to abuse us to the extent that we have been abused. You children are our future. You have the intelligence, you have the energy, and I know if we can just join hands, a little wisdom that we might share with you, and the energy that you have, you are a formidable force, and the world knows it. Africa is going to take her place on the world stage. And we, your elders, are here to support you. We are here to give you our shoulders to stand on. And once again, let me reiterate, we apologize for what we have done to our Africa. We apologize for failing to defend your Africa like we should. But all is not lost. You have our commitment. You have our support. We have no choice but to fight to the bitter end. And this time, we're going to fight with knowledge. Let's honor our ancestors. Let's honor Kwame Nkrumah. Let's honor Nanaya Asantwa, a brave and powerful lady, the gatekeeper of the stool, the golden stool for the Ashanti people. And to the young ladies, may I remind you that this moment is calling for girl power. Nanaya Asantwa, when the men wanted to give up the golden stool to the British, she stood her ground. She said to the men, if you cannot come together and defend the golden stool, Nanaya Asantwa was going to call upon her women friends. The women were going to pick up arms and fight until each and every one of them was down. But she, as a woman and the gatekeeper of the golden stool of the Ashanti kingdom, was not going to allow the British to once again humiliate us and take the golden stool which housed the spirit of the Ashanti people. So it is Nanaya Asantwa shamed the men who came together, organized, and fought to defend the golden stool, which remains in the hands of the Ashanti kingdom to this day. To the Chancellor of this very amazing university, Honorable Dr. Sam Joyner, to the Vice Chancellor, Honorable Mr. Johnson, to the diplomatic corps in the room, to the community leaders who are also present, to the faculty, to the students, all protocols observed. I want to thank all of you for giving me this opportunity to engage all of you on this very important topic where we honor our very own Asajifo Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of the first independent country in Africa. I truly appreciate the honor. It means a lot to me. Today's topic is about imperialism, colonialism, and neocolonialism as the three axes of evil in Africa. When I was asked to come and be part of this very important conversation, I was also asked to suggest a topic. I chose this topic because I feel it is pivotal that if change is going to come to Africa, we must understand the enemy. We must know the enemy. We must call the enemy by name. For when we do, we can then strategize, effectively strategize on how to effectively deal with the enemy once and for all. So it is, I chose that as the starting point. And what do you know? When I came to Cape Coast yesterday, driven by a wonderful driver who has made me extremely very comfortable in Cape Coast, staying at the Ridge Hotel, I was introduced to my room. And when I walked in the bedroom, right above the headboard was a big photograph of Queen Elizabeth in her young age. My heart sank. I said, I shall go to bed tonight with the photograph of Queen Elizabeth, the master of all evil in my own opinion, the leader of a country that started it all for most of the African countries. What happened to the photograph of Nanaya Asantua? What dreams would I have had I gone to bed with Nanaya Asantua last night? But instead, I went to bed with Queen Elizabeth. There is something terribly wrong with that picture. What happened? Why is it that as long as this is because we were defeated where it matters the most, the mind. It is 2024, the legacy of a policy that was set to make sure that Africa and her children are forever defeated to perpetuity remains alive and well. And that is why no one seems to see the reason why we must remove the photograph of Queen Elizabeth at the Ridge. The manager is my friend. We shall have a nice conversation. Centuries ago, people who don't look like you and I sat in their homes far away from Africa and talked about an amazing continent that had everything and anything that they could ever wish for and wondered how they could get there. So it is a few adventurous ones found their way to Africa. They quickly reported back of the amazing kingdoms with well-established educational systems, legal systems, health systems, and they wanted it all. They found a continent with riches that they could only dream of. They too wanted all of that. So they started sharing the news about an amazing continent far away from where they reside. Little by little, they started coming to Africa. They came from Britain, from France, from Italy, from Belgium, from Germany, all over Europe to find out the amazing, wonderful things that were going on in our Africa. They set out to make us believe that the little bit of peanuts that they brought to Africa were wonderful and amazing and more desirable than what we had in our beloved Africa. The process of brainwashing the Africans and making us disrespect that which is consequentially African began centuries ago. They sent missionaries to put us into submissive states of mind, so when they followed to steal that which belongs to us, we were already ready to turn the other cheek. And the other cheek, yes, we did turn. They made us believe that our black skin was undesirable and ugly. Have you ever wondered Why is it that we automatically know that we are inferior to them? There was an experiment that was held a few years back. A young black man, a rather child, was given a group of white dolls and a group of black dolls. The young boy was asked which doll was beautiful. He pointed at the black doll, at the white dolls rather. He was asked which doll was mean. He pointed at the black doll. He was asked which doll was friendly. He pointed at the white doll. And he was asked which doll looked more like him. Reluctantly, he pointed at the black one. The child, only 5 years old, was defeated before his life even began. No self-respecting mother, father, aunt, uncle would have sat this child and told them that they were beautiful. They were ugly, rather. But because the process was put in motion centuries ago, when the white people came to Africa and taught us about Jesus Christ, who was white, Jesus Christ with blue eyes, they told us that white was better than black. Have you ever seen a real white person? We went to school. They taught us about the colors: black color, green color, orange color, white color. But when it came to describing people, they said, never mind about the colors that we told you about. We are white. Have you ever seen a white person? I have not. The deceit started then. We never questioned it. We said, okay, you're white, even though we know you're not white. And it didn't end there. Then they went on and brought the Bible. They said there's a place called heaven and a place called hell. In heaven, there are angels who are lovely, wonderful, desirable, and we all must strive to be like them. And oh, by the way, they are white, like us. And there's also a place called hell. There's a devil there who is mean and hateful and does all the undesirable things, and you don't want to be like him. And by the way, he is black like you. And again, we didn't question that. So it is the destruction of the African mind started years, centuries ago, with blatant lies that we have never sought out to call out as lies for what they are. So it is, they said our blunt noses are no good. You must have a straight nose to be considered beautiful. We said, you're right. We agreed. It didn't end there. They put in policies to take everything that belonged to us, our natural resources. And before you know it, they were coming from Germany. They were coming from Europe, from France, from Britain. They were looting from black people. They started fighting each other. Let's talk about really distribution of Africa for us. Let's prevent a European war on the African soil. So it is, my brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, they met in Berlin in 1884 in what is now called the Berlin Conference. Berlin Conference is not just a piece of history that you must understand in order to pass your exams. No. English. Pretty soon you are in DRC. You're speaking French. Go a little bit west, you are in Equatorial Guinea, you're speaking Spanish. Keep going up north, you're now in Cameroon. In southern Cameroon, you're speaking English. and keep going up north. You're now in northern Cameroon, about the Berlin Conference, among many other issues. And after what I thought was a pretty good discussion, two economists walk up to me, African economists. They said, but Ambassador, we can't keep talking about the Berlin Conference. It's a thing of the past. And these were two economists. Many of them are the ones who are being sent to Africa to push policies that are detrimental to Africa's development. They simply did not understand the significance of the Berlin Conference as a policy that remains alive and well today, as long as we have a country called Togo, as long as we have a country called Malawi, as long as we have a country called Equatorial Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, and many others. Countries with 2 million people. Countries that are being told, oh, let's go to the world market and trade, and you are as equal as China with 1.4 billion people. Yes, Gabon with your 1.5 million people. Come, get into this boxing ring with China. You are equal, and when you are defeated, it's like, wait a minute. What's wrong with you, Gabon? You went into the boxing ring with China and you lost? What's your problem? Berlin Conference was designed to make sure that Africa and her children are forever defeated and dominated to this day. So it is they ruled us under colonization. If you were from Zimbabwe, your country was ruled from Britain. If you were colonized by the French, you were ruled from Paris. And the beat went on until little by little, leaders began to emerge who complained about something wrong with this picture. The likes of Kwame Nkrumah questioning, why is it that we, the black people, the mothers and fathers of humanity, the people who showed the world what it means to be civilized, why are we being treated as second-class citizens on earth? We, the people with the only dominant gene on earth, for some of you young people, I need you to understand that. That we as people are the only people with a dominant gene, and the black gene simply cannot be defeated, simply cannot be destroyed. And that is one reason why they are so afraid of us. I often say, if you were to take genes of the different races and put them in a saucepan, take the Chinese gene, throw it in there. Take the white gene, throw it in there. Take the Japanese gene, take the black, any gene, you bring them in a saucepan, put them on a fire. Guess what? The rest of the genes will melt away, and the only gene that will remain standing is the black gene. Why? Because you are dominant. You cannot destroy a dominant gene. And being that we are the mothers and fathers of humanity, why are we being treated as second-class citizens? Kwame Nkrumah wanted to know. Many other African leaders wanted to know. We started asking questions, and the drumbeat got louder. It got so loud that they didn't have a choice but to back out. So wherein came in neo-colonization. Between the 1950s and 1960s, we saw African countries one by one become independent. Guess what, my brothers and sisters, sons and daughters? We were given fake independence. We were given independence by name. The multinational companies that existed during colonization, they have never left Africa to this day. They simply lay low. Economic liberation was blatantly denied from the Africans. We were made to believe that we were free. Free from what? French countries got it the worst. As they were receiving their independence from France, they were made to sign a document which they called the Pact for the continuation of colonization. Young people, I need you to write that down. The Pact for the continuation of colonization. On one hand, we want you to sign this document telling you that you are free. But on the other hand, we want you to sign this other document called the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization that simply says you agree to continue to be colonized in a different way. The animals simply changed clothes. And what was so bad about the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization? It said, your minerals, discovered and yet to be discovered, they belong to France. French companies had the first right of refusal. Your bank reserves, at that time it was 85% of your bank reserves, are going to be deposited with France. And if should you need some of those funds, you have to put in an application for a loan with the French Central Bank. And if approved, you can only access 20% of what you deposited the previous year as a loan at commercial interest rate. I want to repeat that, young people. I need you to listen to me. You have been depositing money for the past 5 years, the past 10 years. And when you need your own money, you have to apply for it as a loan at commercial interest rate, and you can only access, if approved, 20% of what you deposited the previous year. The rest is gone. France is keeping it. Records show that France would invest those funds in the French stock market with returns in excess of over 300 billion a year. And France kept all that since the 1950s to this day. Your military could only be trained by France. Your military equipment could only be bought from France. Your language of instruction could only be French. So if you were to be a president of any of the former French colonies, your first day in office, your chief of staff shall come to you and say, Mr. President, I must read to you what is stipulated by the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization, because if you do not follow this, your head could find itself hanging from a tree. So, Mr. President, you have to deposit 85% of your bank reserves with France. Mr. President, you cannot do anything about your natural resources. French companies have the first right of refusal. Mr. President, your military can only be trained by France. Mr. President, you can only buy military equipment from France. If you stay from those main basic things, Mr. President, you're free to run your country any which way you want. What kind of president is that? This moment is calling for more Nanaya us and was. They come in as women, they come in as men. The question is, do you have the courage to stand up and defend your Africa? The time is now. Failure is not an option. Viva Africa! Viva Africa! Viva Africa! Viva Ghana! Thank you, my children, for this opportunity.
So guys, I hope you have watched that powerful speech from one of our African leader. I really love to bring Dr. Arikana to this channel because of how she usually fights the right of the black people, and also she usually defend African country and black countries. Dr. Arikana, she has come out and delivered this a powerful speech, and also it was a warning to the African puppet leaders, because for a very long time we have seen our African leaders, our black leaders, they have been turned into puppet. Majority of them, they are not working according to the will of the people. Majority of them, they are working to the Western country. They are selling out our countries. They are taking our resources out of our country without the people having the knowledge of where their resources they are going to. And because of that, Dr. Arikana, she has come out and called all those puppet and corrupt African leaders to change, because revolution, it has started. And also, guys, Dr. Arikana, she has also sent a warning message to the Western countries because of what these people, they are still doing in our country. You can imagine, even today, we might find out we are still having the military from the colonizers, from the Western people. You can see we have the military from US in our African country. Why do we still have their military in our African soil? There are some countries here in Africa, they are still having military bases from the Western country, the UK, the United States. What are these people doing? What are these people protecting? Are these people protecting us black people in our own soil, or are these people protecting what they are going to have in our African soil? Because these people, they are here just to take our resources. These people, they are not here to protect us black people. And also, these people, they cannot allow our black military to go and have their military bases in their own country. These people, they won't allow. But why are we African, black people, we are allowing them to have their military bases in our black countries? We need to abolish that. And that's why Dr. Arikana, she's calling our African leaders to start working according to the will of the people, to start thinking how it's supposed to be. And also, Dr. Arikana, she has come out and say, in some of our African country, when these people, they are seeing our African leaders, they have started to have the knowledge, they have started to follow what the people, they really want. These people, they usually eliminate these African leaders because they don't want African leaders to be brave. Yeah, you can see what it is happening. You can see with our president, Ibrahim Traore, what he's doing. Ibrahim Traore is that one of our African leaders whereby he has come out and show us that we can still do it without depending to the West. Ibrahim Traore, he has removed the military bases, the colonizers' military bases in his country. He has changed the colonizer system in his country. And because of that, the Western people, they are not happy with what Ibrahim Traore is doing. So these people, they are trying so hard to eliminate Ibrahim Traore. Right now, Ibrahim Traore, he has undergo, like he has survived around 15 attempt. You can imagine 15 attempts. Ibrahim Traore, they have been trying to bring down Ibrahim Traore, but assassination attempt that these people, they have been planning to Ibrahim Traore, it has not been successful. And also, guys, these people, what they are doing in our African country nowadays is these people, they are robbing Africa. Yeah, these people, they are robbing Africa. Not only Africa, these people, they are robbing also some black countries in the Caribbean, because these people, they are having our treasures thing in their museum. But when we ask them to return these things that they took from us, they are telling that this thing that we have in our museum, we didn't steal in Africa. Your leaders, they are the ones who sell this thing to us. How comes? And how are you going to, why are you buying something which it has stolen from Africa to put in your museum? Why are you having our things which you guys, you know this thing was stolen? Why are you buying a stolen thing and put it in your country? You need to return. Yeah, you need to return those things that you are claiming that it was stolen, and yet we know you guys, you are the ones who are robbing us, Africa. You can imagine these people, they are having our treasures thing in their museum, and yet they want us black people to pay so that we can see. When we are going there in their country, they want us black people to pay so that we can see the things that these people, they stole from us. So this is to tell you that this is one sign that it is telling you that all these things that they are having in their country, these people, they stole it from Africa, and yet these people, they need to return. That's why Dr. Arikana, she is telling all these black leaders to start fighting for your rights. You need to wake up. You need to fight what it is yours, because we cannot just sit down seeing our things generating money, because this thing they are making, it is making money for them. Yeah, they are gaining money to our things. So we need to reclaim our things, and these people, they need to return our things. And also, these people, they have been always giving us a fake independence. Yeah, for so many years, we black people, these people, they have been selling fake independence. They are telling you guys that you are free, and yet we are not free. These people, they are telling you you are free, and they are going there and capturing the leaders. They are now controlling leaders. They are making leaders to be puppets. They are telling leaders, do this, make this, don't implement this rule. So you can see, because of that, this is a fake independence. These people, they don't want our African country to stand by itself, making decision by its own. And that's why in some countries in the Caribbean, the head of state, it is still the colonizers. You can see what it is happening to Jamaica. You can see the head of state, they are still colonizers. Jamaica, they were given fake independence. These people, they are not having these people, they were given fake freedom. They are not free. So this is tell you that these people, they are still in our country, and they're still controlling some major things in our country. And it is the right time for Jamaica and any other country in the Caribbean to stand by itself, be free from the hands of the colonizers. And also, guys, another thing which it is affecting us, and Dr. Rikana, she has come out and said it is about IMF. We have been complaining about IMF. These people, they are giving this IMF loan to our African or to our black countries, and after giving us these loans, they're now, if we black people, we want to repay this IMF loan, these people, they don't want money. These people, they don't want to pay in terms of money. These people, they want us to pay in terms of the land. They want us to pay in terms of giving them shares in our government, so that they can control how we people, so that they can control our government. And because of that, it has affected us black countries, because we cannot develop. Because when we want to pay these loans so that we can be free, these people, they don't want, they are wanting our land. So, and because of that, they are telling us that give us a portion of land. And you guys, when you are giving out your land, you cannot do anything, you cannot control. So these people, they want to be in our country by us giving for us giving them the land. And yet we as black people, we cannot be allowed to have a land in their own country. They cannot allow black people to own a land. But why is it possible for them to have a land? So we need to abolish this IMF. Africans, we are rich. Africans, we are very smart people. We can still do it without depending to this IMF loan. And also, guys, another thing is imperialism. We need to end this imperialism. I really love Ibrahim Traore, because he's that one of the leaders that usually fight all this imperialism to end, because these people, we need to be free. Exactly, we need to be free as black people. We need to follow the footsteps of Ibrahim Traore, our Dr. Rikana, because these are the people who are telling us exactly what the black people, what the Africans, they're really going through. So kindly, guys, subscribe if you haven't, like this video, share, and also comment. See you on my next one. Bye bye, guys.